All right, so it's a amazing part to this class is how the subtle influence happening to us and how that the voices of the world has become much more louder than the reality of the present. So this is happening for all of us. So there was one time that when the human mind met the world directly, a bird sang and we heard the bird. Wind moves through the trees and we would feel it and we felt the wind. But slowly and quietly, these layers of interpretation start forming around perception, because now we have culture speaking, education speaking, tradition speaking, and most of all, the media speaking about it. And gradually something subtle is now happening. The voice of the world became louder than the voice of awareness itself. So today we are in a place of this, that the human minds live inside the field of this influence invisibly happening to us, not through force, but through repetition. Nothing controlling, but through attention. We have to come to understand, to rediscover something ancient and something very simple. The capacity is to see clearly. And I also have to repetitively say this. Sometimes people take clips of these classes and misinterpret it. I always say the free mind is not rebellious mind. It doesn't have to be rebellious. It is not a mind that fights influence. Free mind is a mind that can see influence while it's happening, and in that seeing, freedom quietly return back to you. So you have a better clarity to take a decision. You have better opportunities to move into the space of what you want to work out in life, and what you want to realize in life. So saying that, I would move the camera towards Darren, and I ask you to sit very gently in a place that you're allowing to very gently work out this, because there's a stronger influence subtly happening, much more in how media interprets cultures, education, a little bit of science, a little bit of patriotism, everything. So be very gentle about it, and find a space to sit. Gently roll your shoulders back, elongate the spine. We will very gently come into that space. So this is to understand today is to gently taking a gentle breath, and we will integrate contemplative inquiry to this class, a somatic awareness, a contemporary little bit of neuroscience, how this, if you don't work it out, how the dopamine rewards the system. So as I talked about DM in previous class, take a deep breath into the count of 4, holding the breath into the count of 4, breathing out into the count of 4, pausing the breath into the count of 4. So allow the body to now settle gently into the support beneath it. There is nothing to achieve here, nothing to fix. This practice is simply an invitation to notice. Begin by feeling the natural rhythm of the breath. Do not change the breath yet. Simply observe. Air moving in, air moving out, air pausing. Some people enter awareness through the body, some through the breath, some through observing the thoughts and the emotions. All these doorways are welcome here. Now, if the breath is your doorway, allow attention to rest softly where the breath is most vivid. Perhaps at the nostrils, perhaps in the chest, perhaps in the belly. Each inhale gently expanding the body, each exhale softening. Let the breath become so slow and unforced. As the breath settles, the nervous system begins to quiet now. Whatever the outside noise, outside voices. Now take a deep breath in, shoulders roll back, open up the chest, arms raised onto the crown. Interlacing the fingers, palms facing up. Now let's breath, body. Twist the spine to the right and stomach very gently. Pulling in, the body is your doorway now. Bring awareness to the physical sensation with the posture. Notice the contact of the body with the floor or the chair, or feel the weight of the legs, softenness of the abdomen. Couple of more breaths, the subtle movements of the breathing. Now slowly scan through the body, forehead, jaw, neck, shoulders. Notice if there's any holding or contraction. No need to change it. Simply notice. Now take a deep breath in and gently come back. Shoulders relax, chest open. Lift up the space of the heart. Change the formation of the legs. Take a deep breath in, arms raised onto the crown, interlacing the fingers, palms facing up. Completely breathe out towards the left, twisting the spine. Move the awareness to the chest in this moment, because many of us carry our social conditioning here. Subtle tightening around the heart area. See if the breath can gently touch this space. Back into the center, shoulders relaxed, chest open. Completely breathe out and collapse the spine into a seated cat. Engage that pelvic flow. Chin to the chest, roll back, opening up that lower part of the spine. Move that awareness to the abdomen, because the belly often holds the patterns of protection and anxiety. So allow the belly to soften, breathing gently into that area. Breathing in, tongue roll up onto the upper palate, energy gaze onto the third eye. Push the belly out, roll from the hips, shoulders roll back, throat open. And breathe out, collapse the spine. Now, as awareness deepens, begin to notice where the condition lives in this body. Now, shrug the shoulders up, tilt the head back, massage the back of the skull. Shrug it up, open and close the mouth wider. The jaw may hold unspoken words. Shoulder may carry the responsibility and expectation. As a mother, as a child, as a father, as a lover, as a husband, as a wife, as an auntie, as a grandmother. Breath out and drop the shoulders, relax. Now take a deep breath in and bring the left leg into the back. Keeping the right hip open. Stretch the neck to the left. Into the pigeon pose. Shoulders roll back, opening up the chest. Now stretch the neck onto the left side. Stretch the neck to the right side. Back into the center. Bring the left shoulder back. Take a deep breath in. Breath out. Drop the elbows. Walk those palms. Release the tension. Head down, neck down. Totally relax. Breathe. Fingers open, palms open, wrists open, elbows open. Now, observe the chest may tighten around the approval and the judgment, because most of these influence wants us to approve and judge things. So belly may hold fear of uncertainty, so you have to move to a side of the world. Face may suddenly adjust to social roles. These are not problems, they are simply traces of human experience stored in the nervous system. I want you to experience all these that you're working on. Now take a deep breath in very gently, coming back. Shoulders relax and chest open. And very gently coming into a plank. So the class is about the free mind liberation from this invisible influence. Now strong on the pelvic floor, left knee onto the floor, right arm reaching up to the ceiling, clench and unclench right, reaching into the back and touch the floor. Now left arm reaching up to the ceiling, clench and unclench and touch the floor. Drop the knee and completely breathe out to the cat. Because in this digital environment, interact directly with that space, the circuits in the brain, dopamine neurons. Now drop the belly, look up. And onto a neutral spine and opening up the hips, wider rotation. So the first studies extensively by Wolfram Schultz. Response was not simply to pleasure, but to anticipate of reward. This process is known as reward prediction error. When a reward is greater than expected, dopamine actively increases. Wider rotation to the other side. When a reward is predictable, dopamine activity stabilizes. So this mechanism is fundamentally for learning. Digital environments exploit this mechanism through variable reward schedules, notifications, social validation, scrolling feeds, and unpredictable information streams. Over time, this pattern shape attentional habits. Attention becomes fragmented. Now push the hips into the front, push the hips into the back, and we become reactive and extremely, this will guide us away from our awareness. And from a contemplative perspective, this raises a profound question. If the attention is constantly captured, can the mind remain free? If the mind is not remaining free, body is not, the breath is not. Even the news of the fear, you could see more negative things, not necessarily negative. Fear-based things are added more. Because the brain as a prediction engine, the most influential contemporary theories is on the neuroscience is predictive processing. Researchers such as Carl Friston proposed that the brain is fundamentally a prediction machine rather than passively receiving sensory information. The brain constantly generates models of the world and updates when prediction error occurs. In simple terms, the brain is always asking, what do I expect to see? When perception arrives, it is compared with expectation. The brain then adjusts its internal model, and this means perception is never purely objective. It's shaped by previous learning, cultural frameworks, belief system, the emotional experiences. In everyday life, this explains why two people can encounter the same event, even two people, 5 or 6 of you in the class can perceive completely different reality of this explanation. Mind is constantly constructing the world it experiences. So meditative awareness allows us to see this construction taking place. And that is how the addiction part of the brain can slow down. Or can be totally addiction to good things. Now, very gently crawling and bringing the chest into the front, breathing in into an up face. Breathe out towards the down face. Breathing in into a plank. Drop the knees, stretch the spine. Crawling and bringing the chest into the front. Elbows onto the floor, soften the hips, gentle cobra. So I have spoke to you on the previous classes about the DMN. And another important area of the neuroscience relevant to this exploration is the default mode network that I have spoken to you of interacting brain regions, including the medial prefrontal cortex, posterior cingulate cortex, and angular part becomes active when the mind is engaged in self-referential thinking. In simple terms, I will say it supports the narrative sense of self. When the mind wanders, remembers the past, imagines the future, or evaluates the identity, and the DMN becomes active while this network plays a useful role in planning, autobiographical memory. Excessive activation is associated with rumination, anxiety, rigid identity patterns, which is happening a lot now. Overlooking to the right side, overlooking to the left side. Back to the center and allow the third eye to slow down onto the fist or to the hands. So why with the DMN, why a practice like that have been shown to reduce the DMN and dominance, and it increased the activity in attentional and sensory networks. So this shift allows the perception to become less filtered by that narrative identity. Now, very gently, elbows where you bring the palms where the elbows are, breathing in into up face, breathe out towards the down face, breathing in and bringing that left foot into the front onto the pigeon pose, shoulders roll back, opening up that chest, lift up the space of the heart. Take a deep breath in, drop the elbows, walk those palms into the front. Now, the conditioning is not only the cognitive, it lives in the body. So the social experiences, emotional learning, and cultural expectation shapes these patterns of on a muscular tension, breathing, the posture, and the autonomic nervous system activity. So common areas where the condition appears is most of the people talk about chest pain, subtle contraction related to that I spoke to you about, related to the social evaluation or approval. So your jaw, bring that attention there. It can hold patterns associated with suppressed expression. I'm polite, but I want to say this to you. And shoulder pain, shoulder tingles, swelling around can be totally protectivity lifting during a perceived threat or scrutiny. And I'm not talking on a medical level, I'm just talking on a gentle level. So if these areas, you need to go and work with a doctor and to work it out. But these are gently when your shoulders are tightened and you're holding a lot of things. And same is the abdomen. The tightening related to anxiety or performance pressure. Face is micro expression adapting to social expectations. So you can see that when you're talking to someone, the facial expressions are, they are holding something. So this movement practice, what does it invite? It invites us to observe these patterns directly. So we are maintaining our space. Take a deep breath in and coming back, very gently holding onto a plank, strong on the pelvic floor. Exchange of breath according to your movement. Right knee onto the floor, left arm reaching up to the ceiling, and give a good rotation, clench and unclench into the back and touch the floor. Take a deep breath in, right arm reaching up, clench and unclench, and drop. Drop the knees completely, breathe out to the cat. Breathing in into a cow. How does your posture change when someone looks at you? What happens in the breath when you feel observed? Breathe out, breathing in, breath out, breathing in, breath out. Good rotation to the hips, onto the other side. Push the hips forward and stretch the spine into the back. Arms facing down. So is there any subtle urge to appear a certain way when someone talking to you or someone looking at you? Or different people, you have a different way of. So why is, I just don't want the science to be there. I just want you to bring that somatic map of conditioning. So this practice reveals how the identity and the social conditioning live within the nervous system, and seeing these patterns without judgment begins to soften all of us in us. Now very gently crawling and bringing the chest into the front, breathing in into an up face. Breathe out towards a down face. Breathing in into a plank, lower plank, otherwise drop the knees, up face, down face. Breathing in into a plank, lower plank, up face, down face. Our toes pointing at each other, knees slightly bent. Lift up onto the toes, push down to the heels. And take a deep breath in Left leg up, left knee to the chest. Stretch back, left knee to the left elbow. Stretch back, left knee to the right elbow. Stretch back, left foot into the front. Arms stretching to the back, arms raise onto the crown. 6 deep cycles of breath. Shoulders relaxed, just open. Palms onto the Namaskar position. Take a deep breath, bend the knees, sit deeper. Bend the knees, sit deeper. And opening up onto the right side and taking a mudra. Gently settling into that. Observe the thought as they arise. Observe the body. Do not try to control anything. Simply notice their appearances and disappearances. And if you can do this with this mudra, soon a surpassing insight may emerge. Thoughts arise spontaneously. Mind does not choose them beforehand. But someone who doesn't have the practice, mind chooses them beforehand. So this discovery can loosen the identification with thinking. But for that, you have to allow thoughts to appear and disappear without any control of them or entertaining them or pushing them away. Gentle arch. Take a deep breath in, elbow onto the knee. Right arm reaching up. Take a deep breath in. Right reaching into the back and touch the floor. Left arm reaching into the front. Take a deep breath in. Couple of more breaths. Left reaching into the back and touch the floor into a plank. Drop the knees. Now come into a place of a cat. Align your wrist with the armpit into a cow, into a neutral spine. Not a neutral spine. Left arm reaching up to the ceiling. Left reaching into the back under the armpit. And very gently stretch the spine. See how you hold things. The human mind was never meant to live entirely inside a thought. It was meant to meet the world directly. When the noise of the influence becomes quiet, something ancient awakens. So listening deeper than ideology, a clarity deeper than belief, an intelligence older than a culture. The free mind does not belong to any system. It belongs to awareness itself. And when the awareness becomes clear, the world appears fresh again. When the world does not appear fresh again, the relationships doesn't appear fresh again, people tend to leave that and go to another one. But they don't understand this is a conditioning of a mind that never be satisfied. For you to leave the world fresh, you have to come into this place, but not by fight, by realization, not taking things out or adding things in. Because the subtle noise of influence is about things, taking things out, put things in. It's never that. That's why I said the intelligence is older than a culture. Intelligence is older than any political answers. Take a deep breath in, gently coming back. Shoulders relaxed, chest open. Now you are working on the shoulder levels, you're working on the abdominal level, on a somatic level. Now crawling and bringing the chest into the front, breathing in into an up face, breathe out towards the down face. Breathing in right leg up, right knee to the right chest, breathe out, stretch back, right knee to the right elbow, stretch back, right knee to the left elbow, stretch back, right foot into the front, arm stretch into the back, arms raised onto the ground, bend the knee properly in the front, but you're not carrying the weight on the knee. 6 deep cycles of breath. See where you are unnecessary support in this posture. Arms onto the Namaskar position. Opening up, bending the knee, sitting deeper into the Virabhadrasana. Like as I said, you can enter through the breath, enter through the body, allowing the body to, you can enter through the thoughts. So whatever works for you, take that mudra and use that whatever you are entering into this realization, whether it's a breath, whether it's a body, whether it's a thought, allowing the body to recognize the somatic map of conditioning. Begin to notice where conditioning live in this body. The jaw may hold the unspoken words, shoulder may carry the responsibility and the expectation. Chest may tighten around the approval and the judgment. The belly may hold fear of uncertainty. The face may subtly adjust to social roles. These are not problems. They are simply traces of our experiences stored in the nervous system. Gentle arch. Gently coming back, elbow onto the knee. Left arm reaching up. Clench and unclench. Left reaching into the back and touch the floor. Take a deep breath in, right arm reaching up. Clench and unclench. Right reaching into the back. Touch the floor. Now very gently into a plank. Drop the knees, coming into a cat. Coming into a cow. Cat. Neutral spine. And bringing into a place of a neutral spine. Right, I'm reaching up to the ceiling under the armpit. Now let's go to feel the. Now let the breath deepen slightly with each inhale. Allow the space to appear in the body with each exhale. Allow unnecessary holding to soften. What is not relevant to this moment. It can be relevant to your future, that what you have planned, but it's not what I'm talking about. You do not need to force relaxation. The body already knows how to recognize when awareness is present. So notice the quiet intelligence within the body. Breathing, circulating, balancing. A deeper, 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 deeper order that has always been. Deep breath, very gently come back. Shoulders relax, chest open. Good rotation to the hips. Wider rotation to the other side. Stretch the spine into the front, into the back, into the front. Open up the hips a bit more, shoulders roll back, back. Stretch the spine into the back. Now, I know we have done this part, but just observing, entering through the thoughts and the emotions. So if your doorway is observing the thoughts, because each and every person has a different base to enter thoughts and emotions, I want you to watch the mind. This is someone who lives in the mind a lot and taking the direction of the mind a lot and answering to the mind a lot, verbalizing the mind a lot. Thoughts may arise, images may arise, memories may arise, emotions. Notice how they appear. Notice how they pass. There is no need to push them away. You're simply the space in which they arise, which they appear, which they disappear. Space before anything else appears. Now, if the body is your doorway, bring the awareness to the physical sensation. Notice the contract of the posture of the body with the flow. Feel the weight of the legs, how the body sits on the knees, sits on the hips, the softness of the abdomen, subtle movements of the breathing. Now slowly scan through the body. Forehead, jaw, throat, neck, shoulder. Notice if there's any holding, any contraction. No need to change it, simply notice. Move the awareness to the chest. Now, if someone doesn't have the awareness to the chest, what they do is they scratch and itch the area, or they move the t-shirt or the garment, or they push something coming towards that. Many people carry this social conditioning here, a subtle tightening around the heart area. See if the breath can gently touch this space without that reaction to it, through emotion, through thoughts, through movement. Move the awareness to the abdomen. The belly often holds the patterns of protection and the anxiety. Allow the belly to soften, breathing very gently into that area. Now wake up the spine one vertebra at a time in this realization. One vertebra at a time. Now, if this posture is uncomfortable, stretch the legs into the front. Otherwise, you can sit on this. Now lift up onto the knees, take a deep breath in. Let that kidneys to be more buoyant. Right arm reaching into the back, couple of times roll. Left arm reaching up and into the back. Shoulders relax. Now right arm reaching up, push the hips, lift up the energy levels. Don't tilt the head too much, support the back. Left arm reaching, support the back. Now, if this is your Kumarasana, just enter through the breath into this posture and push the hips into the front a little bit, or you can touch the heels, or you can use the bolster. Now, a couple of more breaths, Now, very gently drop the buttocks and go into a child pose. Now, if the breath is your doorway in this child pose, allow the attention to rest softly where the breath is most vivid. This can be a past injury, this can be a past memory coming to you, perhaps at the nostrils. Perhaps for you might be in the chest. Perhaps for you it might be the ribs. Perhaps for you it might be the belly. So inhale gently, expanding the body. Each exhale, soften. Let the breath become slowly and unforced. As this breath settles, the nervous system begins to quiet. Now very gently wake up the spine, one vertebra at a time. Pull out the buttocks and stretch the legs into the front. Lightly bend the knees and arms raise onto the ground. Now activate the hips. Activate the hips, not the arms. Try to reach onto the toes. Activate from the hips and rolling forward. Activate the back of the spine, back of the ribs, and rolling forward. It's not about touching the toes. It's about that activation, rolling with the breath, with the breath, with the movement. Begin by now. Notice the posture. Notice the natural breath. Do not change the breath. Simply of the air moving in, air moving out. And see when the air moving in, what happens to the posture, air moving out, can you surrender into the posture? Because we all are different. Some are good with the breath, some through observing the thoughts and emotions. All these doorways are welcome here. The more you understand there is to the same thing so many doorways, you don't have a problem with someone's being different. Very gently coming back. Both knees to the chest completely. Breathe out. Breathing in, arms raise onto the crown and feet stretch up. Breath out, knees to the chest. Breathing in, chin up. Breathe out. Don't curve the spine forward too much. Breathing in. Breath out. Breathing in. Breath out. Breathing in. Breath out. Breathing in, breath out. Now roll back onto the floor if you have space. Roll back, roll forward. So you're using the pelvic flow very gently. Now feet closer to the buttocks and lying down. Tuck the tailbone under. On the out breath, you're lifting up the spine one vertebra at a time. Arms raise onto the crown. Reach back, palms facing up. Get those shoulders down, nice and flat. Shoulders relaxed, just open. Keep the buttocks up. Contract the glutes, not the hamstrings. Bring the arms back, very gently coming down. Now bring the knees to the chest to complete breathe out. Lock onto the toes, shoulders relax, knees slightly bend, and feet wide apart. Now this, you can straighten the knees if you feel your shoulders are totally on the floor without lifting up the shoulders. Or you can bend the knees and keep the posture open and breathe into those areas that you're predictably holding that tightness, the reaction, the emotion, the nerve pain. Now knee to the knees to the chest, complete breathe out. Right knee on top of the left knee and dropping onto the right side, arm stretch onto the side. Bring that knee down as possible, opening up. Keep that shoulders opening up. Release that tension on the lower back. Back to the center, left knee on top of the right knee and dropping onto the left side. Bring that awareness. Bring that awareness by dropping the knee. Back to the center. Knees to the chest to complete breathe out. Up the spine and coming into a seating posture. Now very gently adjust. The space of this class is the free mind, the liberation from the invisible influence. So how this so-called environment shaped the human mind through subtle and often unseen influence. So what the class did is it integrate this contemplative inquiry today, somatic awareness, and also we brought some contemporary neuroscience, including predictive processing, where how the dopamine rewards the system, these attention networks, and we deeply inquire about the default of the mode network. So the class today is not simply to present information, but helping you guys directly to experience how thought, identity, and perceptions are shaped, and how this practice can restore the natural intelligence of the mind. That is liberation from this invisible influence. You don't take decisions from any influence. So soften and observe to conclude it. And just observe that how the mind can live inside a field of this invisible influence. Not through force. No one is forcing anything, but the subtle thing that we carry on the hand. But through repetition, what have we repeatedly done? But bring that attention. This is an invitation to rediscover something much more ancient, something much more simple. Capacity for you to see clearly. We need more of collective consciousness to see things clearly. And as I said it in the start, don't take parts of the class. Because if you take parts of the class, what you will do is you will make this class a rebellious mind, and it's not what I'm asking. It is not a mind that fights influence or fight anything. A mind is a mind that can see influence while it's happening. And in that seeing, freedom quietly returns. So arms raised onto the ground, palms onto the namaskar position, shoulders relaxed, and just open. And coming to that realization that the free mind does not begin in thought, it begins in awareness. When the mind is felt clearly, when the breath moves freely, when the thoughts are seen rather than believed, thoughts are seen rather than believed. Something that we call the ancient part returns, means the God consciousness, whatever you want to call it, don't get caught up on names. The mind not driven by invisible influence, the mind that can see clearly. This is the beginning of the free mind. Namaste to you all. Namaste. Thank you, Dr. Michelle. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Maria and Sage. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Daza, Rebecca, and Darcy. Great to see you all. Big love. Remember what I said, the free mind, liberation from that invisible influence is very important, because you're seeing snippets of things put into you, and they can be coming into that social influence, and collectively they can lead you into areas normally your conscious does not allow you to lead into these things, because the separation is happening. So when you write emails and messages to me, I can only answer things, and I weave it into a class so that we can work through these things together. So Matt, great to see you. Big hugs for you guys, and love you all very, very much. Take good care. Ali's got a friend too. Lovely to see you, friend. Bye for now. And that's Lily. See, that's a Lily. All right. Mwah. Take good care. Lily.